And we are back. After the cancellation of the 2020 Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Stages Rally, the event returned to the glorious surrounds of the Kingdom of Kerry and 6 stages, a loop of 3 run twice, Mollsgap, Ballochbeema and Cara Lake, with the event split into 2 categories, historic and modified. It's a very special year for the rally, celebrating 25 years since the first event in 1996. And there's one very special entry, the BMW M3 of Craig Breen and Paul Nagel, who've signed a 2-year deal with M Sport Ford to contest the World Rally Championship in the new hybrid era. But first there was a small matter of traversing the stages in this year's event in Killarney, held in front of huge crowds, predominantly in Killarney, to see the World Rally Championship crew on home soil.
Just glad we're getting back to some bit of normality again. Great to be back here in Killarney again this time of year. Obviously it's a special rally, holds a special place in my heart, even more for Paul. So yeah, just can't wait to get going. An iconic car for the rally as well, and I think it just it all fits perfect.
The club have done a massive job to put on this rally in difficult times. They've worked tirelessly the last couple of weeks and months even as well, and to have Rentokil on board as well. It's very important in these difficult times, and to have a full entry and have Killarney booked out for the weekend and to kick-start the Christmas in Killarney. It's a huge thing for both us competitors and the club and the people of Kerry as well. It's as Craig said, to have the rallies back in Killarney and have rallying back some way normal. We just can't wait to go in tomorrow.
So Mike, Rentokil Initial, you're based in Millennium Park in Naas as well, but it's a truly international company, isn't it?
It surely is, yeah. It's it's a FTSE 100 company and employing in excess of 40,000 people worldwide. It's great, I suppose, as well to for an international company. It's our way of being local as well, of as I say, giving back to the local community and being involved in an event like the Historic Rally.
There was a start ramp in Killarney Town Centre on the Friday night before the event, as spectators got the chance to see the crews and cars up close. And the annual switch on of the town's beautiful Christmas lights was brought forward 24 hours to coincide with the ceremonial start of the rally. Breen and Nagel were the top attractions, naturally enough, but there was plenty of drivers behind, with the Waterford man in their sights as we firstly caught up with Johnny Greer, who was competing in a Ford Sierra RS Cosworth.
It's got a chance of chasing down the BMW, do you think?
Maybe the Sierra has. I don't know if I'll have much of a chance with Craig, but yeah, the car's certainly fit for the job. So yeah, it'll be good fun. It'll be great to see Craig leaving the line tomorrow morning. So it'll be one bonus, but yeah, hopefully we can get a good result out of it.
The rally attracted a record entry of over 200, meaning a reserve list of over 50 cars, most of which got into the event as others dropped out. But it's still a staggering entry list, including local man Alan Ring in his Subaru Legacy RS.
Yeah, no, this is our third event. We did 3 in Wexford, and the first few events, yeah, we were way behind the car. So at least after 3 now, we're kind of half keeping up with the car. So
it was a long trip south for the former Irish champion Donna Kelly, alongside the legendary co-driver Rory Kennedy.
To be honest, it's a bit of a privilege, to have pedigree like Rory beside you, and the fact his history here is so good. It's a bit of a dream.
It's great to be back in Killarney for the historic rally, and you just look at the crowds and the atmosphere here tonight. It's absolutely fabulous, and delighted that Don asked me to come along with him. I'm really looking forward to it.
The modified category was expected to be a 2-way battle between Colin Donoghue in his Ford Escort Mark II, winner in 2019, and Rob Duggan in his Ford Escort Mark II.
You've done a lot of work in this car, we hear.
Yeah, a lot of work over the last 4 years getting it here, but the last 2 weeks have been busier than ever. We only finished it up there about an hour and a half ago, so yeah, hopefully it is good to go for the morning. There's going to be tricky stages, a lot of competition, so yeah, tomorrow will be interesting.
So as the cars headed to Park Fermé for the night, there was an early start, not only for the cars and crews, but also for the spectators who headed up Mollsgap, trying to find any vantage point they could. Organisers could not believe just how many had made their way up the iconic stage for this year's event, delaying the start to stage 1 by their sheer size.
Well, this is the famous Malls Gap. We're at stage 1 of this 6 stages of the Rentokil initial Killarney Historic Stages Rally. Malls Gap, and they've come out in their thousands.
And so to the action. The first car we see is the World Rally Championship duo of Craig Breen and Paul Nagel in their mass-prepared BMW M3. 3 iconic stages, Malls Gap, Ballygbeema and Cara Lake, provided the ultimate challenge. And through Malls Gap, stage 1, Breen had a 15.1 second advantage over Johnny Greer in his Sierra Cosworth, with Alan Ring's Subaru 2.4 seconds further back.
And into late 4 right half long, Care Titans minus don't. And 3 right Titans 50. And slow 3 right minus nips. And flat 1 left 40. Late 2 right minus half long over crest. 120 turn late tight 3 right cut over crest shiny. 100 late 1 left minus narrows and 3 right half long Titans 30 late 3 left minus for 40 Care Titans 150 late right over crest for 50 Titans. The late 4 plus half long opens easy 40 slowing slight left into left entry chicane.
In dry conditions, Breen more than doubled his lead on Ballygbeema and led by 34 seconds as the cars headed to their one and only service back in Killarney.
If I lose the tyre, it's no damage in the front of the door.
Small little misfire that the guys are trying to fix now, trying to rectify now. So hopefully they can find it. But apart from that, everything really perfect. I'm enjoying it.
It wasn't the happiest of Killarney Historic Stages Rally for Belfast Greer, who was in Killarney fresh from winning the Northern Ireland Rally Championship title for the second time after the final round, the Tour of Sperrins, having won the title for the first time in 2017. So it was disappointing to see Greer go out at the halfway point in Killarney. Also not such a good day for local driver Mark Falvey and his experienced co-driver James O'Brien. The pair picked up a puncture on their right front tyre halfway through special stage 1. They then retired their Oris 1600 on stage 3. Back in 2014, Falvey and co-driver Dermot Lynch had dominated Killarney to win their home rally. However, non-finish for Falvey this year. The sport can be cruel at times. Alan Ring was now up to second place in the ex-Ari Vatanen legacy, but a persistent misfire was hampering his progress.
Flat right to 150, flat crest 80, flat left to in over bump. You've gone through this now. 200 crest and left 2 after the sign 50, left 5.
With Greer out, Cathal McCourt was now up to third place at service in his Ford Escort, but a distant 2.3 minutes behind Breen.
3 right minus, 3 right minus, Gahan, 3 right minus, and 4 left plus half long, 40, 4 right plus, over to 5, you must slow over 40 then, to 3 left minus half long at the chevron, slowing over 40, 3 left minus half long at chevron, and 4 right minus over bad water, into 5 left minus, wait no, 60, 4 right plus and long.
It's probably the most people I've ever seen on the gap there, so here it's great to see in the times we're in, and look, here, long may it last.
Donna Kelly and navigator Rory Kennedy were fourth now in the second of the BMW M3s as they sat together for the first time. The former Irish Tarmac Rally Championship winner was 23 odd seconds off McCourt. Kennedy, 7 times a Rally of the Legs winner, was actually competing in the historic event for the first time as he guided Kelly over the early stages.
2 left to 100 past the lane, and the long 4 right over bumps. Big long 4 right over bumps. 40. Very long 2 left, opens and tightens, and the long 4 left tightens at the ash tree.
A notable retirement came on stage 3 when Ray Breen and Podge News rolled their immaculate Subaru Legacy on a tricky section at the end of Cara Lake. Breen had enjoyed the first stage.
Yeah, it was fine running a wrong tyre, on a wet tyre, but I'd say probably everybody is. A lot of slipping and sliding, my first time doing those stages, so I'm happy to be here.
But his event ended with a roll on stage 3. Thankfully, the crew were okay. Next through, Dennis Cronin in the Ford Escort Mark II. After 2 stages, Michael McDade and Declan Casey were in 5th place, but they fell to 6th as they were passed by Cronin and were now 6.8 seconds in arrears of that 5th place.
Well, it's not your first rodeo, is it? It's the first time up the gap. How was that one?
It was okay. It was hard. It was gets harder, but my brake pedal seems to be going to the floor in the end, but I'm not sure if it'll come back or it's the only issue I had.
Next through in 7th, Eamon Kelly and Paddy McCrudden in the Escort. Eamon, son of Donagh, finished 2nd to William Crichton in the junior section of this year's British Rally Championship and had 1 or 2 moments on the gap.
4 left, minus. Take a line into 5 right plus. 5 right plus. 80, 3 right in. 120 going up, turn fast, 5 right, use all the road. 100. Lit 2 left over a crest, keep out.
Neil Williams and Anthony O'Sullivan in their Class D5 Ford Escort Mark II fought their way through a tricky opening loop after misjudging tyre pressures on Saturday morning. They survived the understeering side effects.
Yeah, that was slippy. The front tyres were slow to kick in on the first few bends, obviously, so confidence was out then, but it's okay. I think we got through it to settle the nerves a bit.
Now into the top 10 after 3 and up to 9th indeed. Visiting crew, Gareth Lloyd and Sion Williams in the BMW M3. And rounding up the top 10, Philip Wiley and Lewis Dunlop in their RS 1800. Ed Colton and navigator Enda Shields were enjoying his Killarney Historic Stages Rally in the Hillman Adventure. It's a car and a driver with a story to tell.
Tell us a bit of history about this car, Ed.
Well, won the national championship in it in 1982, and this was the last round of the championship at Killarney, so it's got lots of good memories for me. And back in an Avenger, I haven't driven a rear-wheel drive car in competition for 40 years or whatever it is, and it's great to be back.
Tipperary's Nicole Drought was competing on her first ever rally after a season of circuit racing where she won her class in the Brick Car Series. Drought's biggest fear was that she would finish dead last in the underpowered Mini.
Nicole Drought, you're normally throwing your car around circuits, Ireland and the UK as well, but now you decided to do pitch it in with a rally. Why?
Well, I actually grew up, my dad rallied when I was a kid and I followed him around Ireland when he competed, and to be honest, this is a childhood dream for me to be able to compete this weekend in a rally. It's going to be completely different and I'm under no illusions, but it's going to be a good challenge and I just can't wait to get started now in the morning.
In 2016, Drought became the first woman to win in the Irish Touring Car Championship, taking victory in the production class. She subsequently raced in Global GT Lights, Striker Sports Cars and the UK-based Citroën C1 Challenge. She also won twice the Class 1A Endurance Trial Championship.
Well, Nicole, the difficulty for you out there is you've no intercom, you've told me.
Yeah, I've just driven 3 stages now with no intercom, and that was just incredibly tough. We knew we were facing a challenge as it was, and to go in with no intercom, and the car is also jumping out of 2nd gear as well, so yeah, it's been a tough start, but hopefully we can get it all sorted and have a better second loop.
So that's our look at the historics. After the break, we'll be looking at the modified class as they lined up for their first stage at Malls Gap. But this is how the historic leaderboard looks after 3 stages. It's Breen who leads by 34 seconds from Ring, with McCourt now up to 3rd. Join us after the break for part 2 of this year's Killarney Historic Stages Rally. Welcome back to the Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Stages Rally 2021, and having seen Craig Breen open up a healthy lead in the historic section, it was time to turn the attention to the more powerful modified section, dominated for the most part by the Mark II Escorts at the head of the field. This year's modified race was expected to be between the local drivers Rob Duggan, the overall winner of the 2019 event, and fellow Kerryman Colin O'Donoghue, who won the modifieds 2 years ago. And over the first 3 stages, it was Duggan who took the lead in his self-built Mark II, immediately setting down a mark after Malls Gap, as he led by 9.7 seconds. However, O'Donoghue responded on stage 2 to cut the advantage to 6.2 seconds, only for Duggan to hit back on stage 3, Cara Lake, and by service the gap between the top two stood at 10.3 seconds.
Rob, you set your mark down on the first 3 stages, leading the modified. How was it for you out there?
Yeah, pretty good. The middle stage was a bit tricky for us. Just couldn't get a rhythm inside there. It's the stage we never really get too good of a rhythm, but we made up for the other 2 quickest on them, so we made a couple of adjustments there now, so hopefully we can go and make them work now on the stages.
Colin and Kieran O'Donoghue could do nothing about Duggan on Moll's Gap, saying they had a small bit of an issue, but the run over stage 2 at Ballacbeema would have lifted the spirits of the crew of the Mark II. There was work to be done, however, to catch Duggan.
Looks like you're under pressure at Moll's Gap. How's it been since then?
Yeah, a small bit of an issue there, but we got it sorted in the end.
Tell us about the next 3 stages. What's the plan of attack?
Oh, the same again, maximum attack. We'll try and catch that fella. We'll see.
In third place after the opening 3 tests was Donegal's Kevin Eves and Chris Melly, winner of the 2019 National Two-Wheel Drive Championship. Their Toyota Corolla, however, had no answer to the speed of the front 2 escorts, and after 3 stages, Eves' twin cam was 20.2 seconds off Duggan's lead.
Modifieds are coming off, a lot of smoke coming out of the brakes as well. Is it hard on the brakes?
Aye, it is. I suppose you see you're carrying that much speed in Moll's Gap and you're left foot braking, and I laugh at me even with the notes in Moll's Gap. You're marking very fast stuff, and see when you're coming up to it, you're thinking, oh, now it might go down a gear, and you're kind of riding the left foot brake a wee bit. So to be honest, we're kind of happy to be. I suppose at the minute we're kind of best of the rest. You know, the Rob and Colin, the kind of 2 local boys, is tearing away there. So hey, we'll chip away and see how we get on.
Fourth was a very frustrated Gary Kiernan and Darren O'Brien in the Ford Escort, who said he had issues up on Moll's Gap first time, especially under braking.
Gary, welcome back to the Kingdom. How was that for your first run through Molls?
Pretty to be quite honest. I can't really spend any time with my brakes or cooking. I want to go off. I'll be back. I'll chat to you the next time. I don't want to burn it.
Kiernan, though, had a better run over stage 2 and 3, and that service was 23 seconds behind Eves. Another of the local crews were Aidan and Shane Buckley, and going well, 5th after Molls. They were passed, though, by Gary Kiernan at Ballacbeema before rising back again to 5th by service, just 3.9 seconds off the Cavan crew ahead. Martin McGee and Dennis O'Mahony of Donegal made a good start, and they were 4th after 2 stages, not far behind the 3rd placed Eves.
Bit full through right one left, 80 up, half right over second crest, 60, half right over big crest at the rock, and half right over crest at the 4 left. The beat into 4 left, into 4 right.
However, McGee clipped a chicane bail on stage 3 and dropped down to 31st.
No excuse for her, just sitting looking at it. But I don't know, we just fell on off the road, then we couldn't get out, so we're there a couple of minutes, I would say, or whatever, but lucky to be still going, happy enough.
Another early front runner was the Tyrone driver Ryan Loughran and his navigator Gareth Donnelly, 6th after Moll's Gap, but problems with stage 2 saw him drop his escort into Rally 2. After the opening 3 stages, Enda O'Brien and John Butler in their Mark II were making steady progress. They were 19 seconds off 5th place Aidan Buckley. Also moving through into a comfortable top 10 position were Gary McPhillips and Conor Mohan. And after 3 stages, they were just 2.5 seconds behind O'Brien. Not such a good start for Cavan's Chris Armstrong and Darren Kern. 8th after 3 tests. They were only 10th after Moll's Gap, but they improved their positions over stages 2 and 3 and we're now up to 8th.
5 left, and they have flat 4 right over the crest. Flat 4 right over crest. Left on the jump and next to 60 at the caution. 5 left by crest jump. 5 left by crest jump, and they're long. 3 left.
More would have been expected of Donegal's Declan Gallagher and John McCarthy in their rear-wheel drive Toyota Starlet, as they were lowly 12th after Moll's Gap and not really on the pace. The 2018 Killarney modified winner was 9th after the first loop, but it wasn't for the want of trying between the pair.
right, go, go, go. 113 on the mid, keep her going. Mid over flat crest here. 113 to a 1 right, go, go, go. 60 to a 1 left, go, go, go. 170 to all, go, go, go. Keep going. Slow on your crest here for Sun 4 left, keep going. Keep going now. Sun 4 left here, staying in it.
Indeed, Raymond Conlon and Damien Fleming were now snapping at Gallagher's heels, 1.6 seconds off the Donegal driver in their Corolla twin cam. Just outside the top 10 were Richard Moffat and Derek Kelly in their rear-wheel drive Toyota Starlet. Damien Toner and Ben Taggart were in 15th place in the Ford Escort RS Mark II. And in 12th, John O'Dugan and Kieran Marin in the Mark II Ford Escort, pushing hard on the gap as you go in car with Dugan.
Into 2 left, and a caution 1 left over crest, tightens to a tree, into 3 right, tightens to a tree, into 3 right, into 1 left, into 1 right over the crest, into 3 left, and a short 4 right, into short 5 right, and a 4 left here, 40 up, and a 5 left, 2 right, don't cut.
Vincent Collins and Jane Collins may have been down the field, but they were enjoying the run in the ex-Manus Kelly Escort.
What's it like, I mean, stepping out of a car like a Pinto to this beast?
It's like someone came along at the start line and gave you 2 kicks in there instead of 1 off the start line. It's unreal, the power and tractive box and everything. It's just keep the foot down if I was able to drive it now. But I'm enjoying it, having the fun.
This is one of the local crews in Shane McCarthy and Eamon Creedon in the Ford Escort, 20th after the opening 3 stages.
Right, 150. Turn 5 right. 100. 2 left into crest jump. Only 60.
And just ahead of McCarthy, Daniel Breslin and Quaylen Gaffney in the Mark II Ford Escort.
The stages are fantastic. Like when you get loose on it and you get the tyres, we actually were on the right tyres this morning. So that was an added bonus, but just committing to that real fast stuff, it takes a bit of nerve and takes a bit of getting used to, you know.
And so as the crews prepare for the second and final loop on this year's event, we get a chance to speak to the rally sponsor, Mike O'Mahony.
Well, Mike, as a sponsor, I'm obviously delighted with the car and it's still going and leading as well, but having the amount of crowds out on the stage is extraordinary, isn't it?
It's absolutely phenomenal, John. Really, really back to the Circuit of Ireland days and the Rally, the Lakes. I haven't seen anything like it for many, many moons.
Paul Nagel was saying that they were surprised actually that Malls Gap ran, there were so many people up on the stage, so you've got to give a lot of credit to the marshals and stewards actually for getting it run.
Yeah, terrific. Martin and his team have done a great job. I was driving up to the gap this morning and there were cars and camper vans and everything all over the place, so it was just crazy, but I thought the stage would be either cancelled or delayed, but in fairness to the stewards, they did a great job and got everything up and running and all going well so far.
So 3 stages down in the modifieds, and it is Duggan who leads from O'Donoghue by 10.3 seconds, with Eves, Kiernan and Buckley making up the top 5. We're back after the break with part 3 of this year's Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Stages Rally. Welcome back to the Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Stages Rally 2021. The Killarney Historic Stages Rally began life in 1996, and in its 25 years, it's seen more than its fair share of drama and heartbreak. But above all, the overriding sense is one of fun, where the competitors get to traverse some of Europe's most iconic rally stages and pit themselves with some of the world's best drivers. This year's event is also the opening round of the historic Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, which makes a welcome return after a 2-year absence, with the second round of the series, the Galway International, in February of 2022. We're on to the second loop of stages now in Historics, and the second run of a Malls Gap and Ballochbema. It looks like there's no catching Breen and Nagel at the top of the historic standings, and their BMW M3 has hardly missed a beat. And after stages 4 and 5, their lead at the top of the standings has gone out to over a minute. such a pleasure to see a World Rally Championship crew working in tandem.
And flat and right 40, crest and tight, 2 left and 2 right minus sharp, don't, 3 left and 2 right minus tightens, and 1 left minus 30, 2 right minus tightens, narrows, into 2 right for 150, care tightens a late 3 minus, into bump 30, care, late 4 right plus, sharp, 80, early 3 left minus over crest, dip, 30, 4 right, short, tightens, and early flat, 3 left over crest, opens, 40, deceptive late, 5 left over crest, opens.
Second and still finding his misfire is Alan Ring. Let's contrast Nagel and Ring's co-driver, Adrian Deasy.
Left 2 minus, right 3 fast maybe, 60, left 4 late, second rock inside, 50, left 2, 60 down mid, slowing right 2 minus, moment into left 4.
Cathal McCourt is now third in the escort, and this weekend McCourt is navigated by local co-driving ace Liam Moynihan, whose local knowledge is a distinct advantage.
And go, flap 5 left, go, 80, 5 left keep, for flap 5 right over small, slippy past the bail, left foot no long here, and 6 left and 6 right, 100, flap 5 left, 30, flap 5 right, 30 again, 5 left minus at the sign, 5 left minus.
Donna Kelly and Rory Kennedy are fourth in the BMW. Kennedy's a class act, as he called the notes for Kelly for the very first time.
80, long 2 left and on crest push, 40, flat over bumps and 1 right, 80, middle over long, triple crests, 40, unseen, flat 1 right, 40, 1 left long, 150, slowing, 1 left at the think, 60, 4 left at the chevron.
I'm missing gears like hell, but I love the car. It's a great car. So, but my young lad is knocking on the door there. He's going to put manners on his dad, I think. So, yeah, we'll keep at it.
Eamon is 25 seconds behind Dad, probably too far behind with just 1 stage to run. Paddy McCrudden is his navigator.
Lit 2 right into 2 left and keep 40, 3 right plus in 60, stay right over crest into 3 left, 40, short 2 right, 40, slight left over a crest and 4 right plus in 80, fast 4 left over crest, let 100.
Listen, we're loving it. It's just some fun. It's magic going up the gap in them stages, you know, in that kind of car. It's nice to be close to Dad, so we're getting closer and closer, and yeah, if we could nip him on one, it would be brilliant.
Car 57 has been driven by the UK visitor Rex Ireland. Alongside him, the veteran Peter Scott, a one-time co-driver to the legendary Billy Coleman, who's got some great memories of the Circuit of Ireland.
If you had to pick one, what was your favourite time in rallying?
Well, I think actually it was second place on the Circuit of Ireland with Billy in the Stratus, and that was very, very special because the whole way from the first stage and through the Sunday run with no clutch, and to be sitting behind Russell Brooks was great. And to do Gorton again with Billy, he actually told me at the start of Gorton again to sit back, fold my arms and pretend I'm at the pictures. On the Isle of Man, when we were coming along long straights and braking for a junction, he'd knock it into neutral to give the engine a wee rest.
Your note calling for Billy Coleman would have been different for him, because I hear that he was looking out for pieces of haycocks or barn doors or things like that. He was an unusual kind of driver in that way, wasn't he?
The first time I think we were wrecking for Donegal, he suddenly slammed on the brakes, pulled into the gateway, leapt over the gate, got a bit of wheat or corn or something like that, brought it into the back of the car, and on we went. But I also remember in that rally, he said, so, you know, medium left at pier. Now, we were a long way from the sea, but I only found out afterwards that down here, a pier is actually a gate post.
So the Historics wait to take off on the final stage as we caught up with the top two.
One to go, how's it been?
Yeah, nice. Enjoyed it. A lot drier. Probably should have went on a slightly harder tyre. We kept the weight on the front, and perhaps it would have been better to go with a slick. But honestly, the gap was so much now. There's not really much point in risking anything. So just enjoying it. Beautiful run through the gap. Sun was out. Sun was bouncing off the lake, and just really picturesque as we're going through it. So perfect.
And you said you misfired in the first loop. Is that gone?
No, unfortunately we changed a few bits inside, but still the same. So we're keeping the same distance behind Craig per stage, but it's fine. Look, we're still second and we're here and we're still having a good run, so happy enough.
So 1 stage to go in Historics as we look back on the action on stages 4 and 5 for the modifieds who ran behind the historic field. Rob Duggan continues to lead in the escort, and now with just 1 stage to go he could pretty much glide to the finish, as Duggan has over a minute now to spare at the head of affairs. Sadly, Colin O'Donoghue's intended charge to cut the gap between himself and Duggan ended on stage 4 on the second run over Miles Gap. A real shame, as the battle could have gone to the wire. Kevin Eves now up to second to Duggan with O'Donoghue's demise, but Eves had a power failure on stage 5 and was lucky to make it to the end of the stage and get started again. And now Eves is looking over his shoulder at the rejuvenated Gary Kiernan, who was closing in and with 1 stage to go was 8.2 seconds in arrears. Could the Cavan man take second place in modified? Finally, Chris Armstrong was able to show what he was capable of and was one of the quickest modified cars on both stages 4 and 5.
5 left, 120. Then we have a 3 right, 4 left and a 2 left crest. 3 right, 4 left, 2 left crest, and the sudden 5 left sign. 4 right plus after it. 5 left, 4 right plus, and they have 1 left, 1 right, and they have 4 left, 4 right, and they have 5 right.
We're a lot happier now. We woke up now for the second loop. We're a bit more on the pace. We're a bit close to the boys on the gap, but we're only at 2 or 3 seconds off the Duggan there in that last stage, so we're getting there. Happy enough.
Also with the bit between his teeth, the flying milkman Declan Gallagher, now flying in his car.
3 left narrows, into 1 right, right on crest here, 2 left, into a shot, 4 into the 4 shot, 4 right, into a 3 left, into a 2 right, don't cut, on into a 3 right narrows at the bottom, 3 right narrows at the bottom, back her off, and push on now again, push on now, all the way around to your 4 right, keep going, keep going, keep going, right, get it on now, 4 right, and bumps into another Kier 4 in the rock, watch this one, Kier 4 right, watch it, E.T. Kier, short, 4 left in them.
1 to go. How's it going?
Aye, good. We just had a good time in there. Right tyres on now and everything's clicking a wee bit better. So 1 to go and hopefully we'll make it to the end. Fingers crossed.
Mervyn Dean and Trevor Burke were actually on the reserve list, but they got into the rally this year in their Mark II.
Very long, 1 left and very long 2 right, tightens the 3. And 3 left narrows into 1 right. And right on crest into 2 left. And short 4 left at the cone. 4 right at the cone, don't cut. Into 3 left. And 2 right, don't cut. And 2 left. 3 right down arrows into caution. Watch this. 2 right continues for 100 and watch the 4 right throw.
The Killarney Rally once again gathers a host of local drivers, including the veteran Tommy Randalls, who's now into his 40th year of competition, and we caught up with him on the start ramp on Friday evening.
This car, myself and Dermot Lynch finished second overall in the modifieds of this car in 2002.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
This is the car we won the Mark II Challenge with as well.
Yeah.
So we're back at it again. My 40th year in rally, I did my first rally in 1981. So that's
Still loving it?
Yeah, still getting fun out of driving, yeah.
So outside of Randalls, here's some of the local men and crews further down the field. So 1 stage to go, O'Donoghue out, Duggan on the cusp of a modified win.
It's a pity Colin had mechanical trouble there off Miles Gap, but a bit of a lead, but yeah, anything can happen, so we'll just try and get to the finish.
Join us after the break for the conclusion of the Rentokil Initial Killarney Historic Rally. Welcome back to the final part of this year's Killarney Historic Stages Rally. Before we get into the class and the overall winners of the historic and modified sections, let's have a chat to Gary McAvoy, supplier of the official merchandising to this year's event.
This is probably one of the best weekends we've had in Killarney. Fantastic, great crowds, great, lovely people, great, and they understand with the COVID situation, with the measures, as you can see here. We're taking as many measures as we can, and people are very understanding, as rally people are, great people. Yeah. Thank you very much to Mike and to all the sponsors that make the rally possible as well.
Well, we're back after 2 years. Hopefully, they won't close us down again.
We just keep it going now, and hopefully we'll see everybody in Galway.
Well, all weekend, huge crowds headed out onto the 6 stages, showing the desire of supporters for the sport's return. And they weren't disappointed, as we now firstly take a look at the modified class winners. Class 1, won by Kevin Flanagan and Mark Riley in the Austin Mini Cooper S. Class 2 winners, PJ O'Dowd and Denny Greeny in the Talbot Sunbeam. In 6th place in Class 3, Evan Russell and Richie Long in the Ford Escort.
Into 1 left and the caution 3 left. 1 left. Caution 3 left. Long 3 right. 4 left. The 3 right nips. Caution 3 left over crest. Caution 3 right over nips. 3 left over crest.
In 2nd place, Kevin Cole and Declan O'Boyle in the Ford Escort. And in 1st, James Cassidy and Donald Lennon in the Ford Escort as we go on board with the Class 3 victors past the huge crowds out on the stages.
Yeah, 2 right back off 45 left here. Now 130, use the road on exit. 130 up, turn fast square right and flat crest. And 300 at the flat to the finish. I say keep him going, James. And stop. You buy it in.
Class 4 winners, the veteran Lloyd Hutchinson and Willie Fitzpatrick in the Austin Mini Cooper S. Class 5 was a tight battle all day, but Seamus Connolly and Gary McCrudden took 2nd place in the Toyota Corolla Twin Cam. For the winners, by just 0.3 of a second, the Ford Escort of Eddie Doherty and Tom Murphy. On to Class 6, and in 3rd and in 13th overall, it was Leonard Downey and Mark Murphy in the Ford Escort. In 2nd place and in 8th overall, Raymond Conlon and Damien Fleming in the Toyota Corolla Twin Cam. 1st in class and 4th overall, Aidan Buckley and Shane Buckley in the Ford Escort Mark II. And the overall top 5 in modifieds. In 5th place, Chris Armstrong and Darren Curran in the Ford Escort. In 4th place, a long trip down from Donegal for Declan Gallagher and John McCarthy in the Toyota Starlet rear-wheel drive. In 3rd place, Gary Kiernan and Darren O'Brien in the Ford Escort. A frustrating day for Kiernan. In 2nd place, Kevin Eves and Chris Melly in the Toyota Corolla Twin Cam. Happy enough with his day's work. So it was an easy victory in the end for Rob Duggan by 1 minute and 5 seconds in his Ford Escort.
We knew it was going to be a fight all the way. Unfortunate that he had to stop, but I suppose we'll take them in rallying. That was us 2 weeks ago, so we'll take the win here when we can get it.
So pretty much a cruise to victory in modifieds for Rob Duggan and Ger Conway with the demise of the O'Donohues. Kevin Eves was in 2nd place ahead of Gary Kiernan, but only 4.6 seconds separated those two. Aidan Buckley and Declan Gallagher made up the top 5. On to the historic class winners, Class E2, Irla Carthy and Stephen Reynolds in their Vauxhall Nova. One performance of note was that of William Maverty and Andrew Brown, who won Class E1. The pair had swapped their usual Mitsubishi Evo for a Talbot Samba to do the rally. Maverty, along with a long list of helpers, had rebuilt the Samba, which was originally driven by the late Rory Galligan. Despite struggling with the lack of brakes, Maverty and Brown made it back to the Gleneagle Hotel finish ramp in one piece and were more than happy with their special tribute to a much-missed friend. On to Class D5 and 5th, Todd Falvey and Irla McCarthy in the Ford Escort RS 1800.
And 60 over the bridge to square right, don't cut. square right don't cut. And 3 left 60. To 3 right opens to very long 2 right. So it opens to very long 2. Into caution, slow 1 right over crest, jump into late 4 left. Repeat late 4 left. 40. And 3 right opens, keep in 80.
Just ahead of them, in 4th place, Phil Rogers and Brian Quinlan in the Ford Escort. The visiting crew of Duncan and George Williams finished in 3rd in D5, and they were 10th overall and the 2nd highest Irish Tarmac Rally Championship point scorer in their Ford Escort. In 2nd place, Dennis Cronin and Helen Sullivan in the Mark II, 7th overall as well on this year's event. First in D5, Neil Williams and Anthony O'Sullivan, 6th overall, and they also took maximum Irish Tarmac Rally Championship points in the RS 1800. On to Class D3, tight battle all day. Alan Watkins and Owen McCarthy in the Ford Escort RS 2000 finished in 3rd place. Second went to Robert Falvey and John Doody in the Mark II. And the winner of D3, Noel Doyne and James Murta in their Ford Escort. Class D2 went to Brian Crawford and Finian Hannigan in the Talbot Sunbeam. And our congratulations to Nicole Trout and Aaron McElroy, who won Class D1 in their Mini.
I had an absolute ball. I just want to thank all the marshals and volunteers and Craig Fox from Fox Engineers and Patch Tire Equipment for getting me here.
Class C5 in 2nd and 3rd place in the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship point scorers position, Morris Meskel and Stephen Meskel in the Ford Escort Mark I.
40, mid crest, 1 right over crest, and 60. And get your line to tie 3 left over crest and 3 right.
Quickest in C5 though, Mike Simpson and Dale Gibbons in their Ford Escort Mark I. Class C3, Pat Looney and Amy Burke won in the Ford Escort RS 2000. Good return to the stages for Ed Colton and Enda Shields in the Hillman Adventure. They won Class C3. Class C1 victors, Brian and Adam Carson in the Austin Mini Cooper S. Class B5 won by John Keatley and James Keefery in the Porsche 911. Keatley was the first ever Killarney Historic Stages winner, returning to the event in the same car he won 25 years ago. Class B3 victors, Tom and Helen Slattery in the Lotus Cortina. Class B2, first home, Joe Whites and Dermot Mulligan in the Morris Cooper. Quickest overall, though, in B2, Colin McDowell and Michael Spence in their Austin Mini. On to the big lads, Category K, top 5, Luke McCarthy and Brian Duggan, 5th in their Ford. 4th, Philip Wiley and Lewis Dunlop in their Ford Escort RS 1800. The Welsh crew of Gareth Lloyd and Sion Williams finished in 3rd in the BMW M3. In the Battle of the Kellys, it was the son, Eamon, along with Paddy McCrutton, who finished in 2nd in Category K in the Ford Escort RS 1800. While Dad Donna Kelly and Rory Kennedy finished 29.6 seconds ahead of son Eamon in the BMW M3. But this was the overall results then of this year's Killarney Historic Stages Rally. In 3rd place, Cahan McCourt and Liam Moynihan in the Ford Escort. 2nd place, Alan Ring and Adrian Deasy in the Subaru Legacy RS. They were 57.1 seconds off the overall victors. Craig Breen and Paul Nagel in the BMW M3. The pair had a wonderful day out, and Breen had so much in hand, he was able to celebrate with a donut.
Turn late of 5 left short. Wide. Into flat crest.
definitely enjoyed it. This rally always delivers, whether it's in the summertime or in winter time. It's always a great days out, and yeah, it's just 3 beautiful stages. Enjoyed every second of it, and it's great to be back here, and obviously great to get the trophy. It's important for me, but absolutely more important for Paul. So it's great. It's a beautiful car, and absolutely smashing. Mats and his dad and the team have done an amazing job to prepare the car, and then the music that the spectators have been listening to today are all thanks to those guys. The car it speaks for itself literally as it going through the stage, and it's just been a pleasure to be inside, steering away at it. When you have a car like this, it's very simple to do the job at the end of the day, because everything just works. And Paul did a great job, obviously. Rentokil for allowing us to be here. Hearns, BMW, Mallow Road Motors, and basically everyone that's made it a great weekend for us, and we've enjoyed it immensely.
Paul, must be great to be sitting beside likes of Craig and to win this.
Yeah, it is a massive achievement for myself, and big thanks to Craig. I've put him under pressure here a few times, the Rally Lakes a couple of years ago, and obviously today again there's always the extra pressure when I'm at home. But it's fantastic to win it on the 25th anniversary, and lucky enough we won the rally 2 years ago on the 40th for the Lakes, and so to have those 2 cups at home now, it's very special for me. And I know we're in the World Championship stage at the moment, and that's our career, but my roots are still very much at home. But I have the big thanks to the Motor Club today and the officials running at the front. I have no idea how they ran the rally with the crowds. Malls Gap this morning, as long as I've been rallying up there, I've never seen crowds like it. And the effort they put in, they're the real winners today. They put in a huge effort, and all the marshals standing up there and controlling everything. They did a fantastic job, and huge credit to them.
So to the victor of the spoils as they pop the champagne on the victory round. This the top 5 on this year's Killarney Historic Stages Rally. Breen wins it ahead of Alan Ring. Cathal McCourt in 3rd, Donna Kelly and Eamon Kelly make up the top 5.
Martin, a successful running of the rally. Obviously happy the way things went.
Absolutely. The weather played a big part. We had a great team from the outset. We worked hard through the night to move campers and cars and make sure everyone. Safety is our priority in Killarney. We run safe rallies, and we're keeping that reputation up today. Mike Mahoney of Rentokil, our loyal sponsor, he's been fantastic. I asked him for more money this year. He said, no problem, whatever the rally needs. He's just fantastic. The Gleneagle, our associate sponsors, and all other state sponsors. Without them, rally wouldn't run.
Rallying is back in Kerry, and we all welcome that. The Rentokil initial Killarney Historic Stages Rally has come to an end. Congratulations to Craig Breen and also to Rob Duggan, our category winners. But I suppose the club is the biggest winner here, and the crowds as well. Unbelievable, especially up in Malls Gap this morning. 6 stages, very compact event, but what an event it was. Hopefully we'll all be back here at more regular and normal times next year. From us all in the kingdom, bye for now.
Much missed Killarney and District Motor Club members Johnny Hickey and Mike Falvey were remembered at this year's event. Hickey, one of the club's most dedicated members, passed away in April 2021. His presence was sorely missed in the run-up to the event. Mike Falvey, another club member who was badly missed after he passed away in May this year, was the team leader on stage set-up duties. The number 1 slot on the entry list was left blank in honour of both Johnny and Mike.